Hi everybody, today we're going to learn how to play Three Little Birds by Bob Marley, and it's going to be on the guitar, and it's going to be for people who are beginning guitar and some who are a little bit more advanced. And I'm going to talk you and walk you through the chords, and it's going to be a piece of cake. So we're going to start off first with making sure that our guitars are in tune. If you would like to tune up and pause this video, or I can give you a reference tone on my guitar so that you can tune to an E and tune from then on. Okay, there's your big fat E. Okay, now what I do with my electric guitar is I normally set my pickup to in the middle. So you haven't got it too mellow and you haven't got it too twangy. So what I've got is I've got this nice sort of authentic reggae guitar kind of sound. If you're using an acoustic, don't worry at all. You can play further towards the bridge and the saddles at the back to give yourself a more trebly sound, and that will sound fine. Okay, what else do we need to know? Well, first of all, we're going to look at how we play reggae rhythms. And reggae rhythms are a little bit different to what you'd normally play. They're still in 4/4 time, so the time signature is still 4/4 generally for reggae. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually use what we call a syncopated beat. Okay, so it's going to be syncopated. And that means instead of the count being emphasized on the 1 and 3 when we play, as in if I was playing, I don't know, some folk like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, I'm going to emphasize it on the 2 and the 4 instead of the 1 and the 3. So when I'm playing a chord, which is my A chord, which I'm going to play this Three Little Birds song with, I'm going to actually play a very quiet first beat, okay, and then I'm going to make the second beat louder. Okay, and then I'm going to mute my guitar, and that just, what I'm going to do there, that requires me to just take my finger slightly off the fret, still leaving it on the string, so you can hear that noise, okay, for a little mute, and then I'm going to strike it again. Okay, so I'm going to get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, mute, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can hear it's on the 2 and the 4. And that's what's going to give me that reggae rhythm. Now I'm going to use the chords of A, D and E. And A, D and E, really easy to play. I'm going to play them in the open shape. You can, if you're more advanced, you can play them in the bar chord shapes, which would be an E shape, an A shape, like the 5th and the 7th. So you've got your A, D and E. There you go. Now if I'm going to play it down the open, I'm not going to use 3 fingers for my A, like that, because it can be a bit tricky changing them quickly. And if you're not used to doing it, I'd rather you used a single finger. So pop your single finger across 3 strings, and then you've got your open A string that you're going to play that little bass note with. Okay, so that's my A chord. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a diagonal shape on there, makes it easier for us. And now we're going to play that triangular shaped chord, which is the D major. And I'm going to play the open D note, should I say? Okay, and then I'm going to go to the E major, okay, which is a nice easy chord to play as well. And I'm going to use this big fat string at the bottom to play there. Okay, so that's an E major. So I've got A, D, and E. Now the way that we would play a reggae rhythm is like so. I'm going to play my root note quietly, and then I'm going to do a strike, okay, and then I'm going to mute, and then I'm going to play a strike again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I get that nice little reggae pattern, yeah. Okay, and then my D is going to be the same idea. I'm going to make sure I don't play these E and A strings at the bottom because that would sound pretty horrible. And I'm going to play the D string down. So going to be little tiny movements here, like so, like that. Okay, and then my E string, well, or my E chord, in fact, not my E string, would we've got all the strings to play there, so it's going to sound quite big. So we're not going to worry too much about hitting any other strings because we can play them all. It's going to be great. Okay, so that's your E chord. Only 3 chords to this song, it's brilliant. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play 4 bars of A, okay? So I've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thinking about the D now, because we're going to play for that 2 bars. Then back to A, we're going to do 6 bars. About a D chord now, I'm going to move for 2. Now A for 4. Now E for 2. A for 2. D for 2. A for 2, E for 2, D for 2, now A just A for 1 and E for 1. And that is how we play Three Little Birds. So I'm just going to sing that through very quickly so you get a bit of a feel for it. And I'm going to just be a little bit more flamboyant with my strumming pattern, just so I can get through it. Here we go. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, every little thing is gonna be alright. Woke up this morning, looked at the rising sun. 3 little birds upon my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show the more advanced players just a little bit of how we can play a little bit more of a more complicated rhythm. Okay, bit of a variation on the first one that we did. Okay, so this is you guys that can play a little bit better, been playing a while. Okay, so you can play it in opens if you wish, but you'll find that you can probably play bar chords will give you a more easier thing there. So anyway, here it is in opens. So what I'm doing there is I'm playing a root for my big fat bass string on my A. Now I'm going to do a up, down, up, and then a strike again. Or we could add 3, which I prefer. And I'm just patting my hand down as well to make sure it mutes and it doesn't play any strings there, so I don't want that to happen. If I play it in a bar chord, that's at the 5th fret with an E shape. So if you get your E chord, move it up to 5, get your first finger up, use the edge of your finger to get that bar chord planted properly. Okay, so I've got that nice little A chord there. Okay, now I'm going to just relax my fingers and I'm going to use that down, up, down, triplet mute strumming pattern there. Now I've got my A chord shape. And back again. Okay, and the E chord is just going to be at the 7th fret in an A shape. Okay. Go on YouTube and check out other reggae tracks as well and see if you can work those out. because it really is a great style, and you'll find that syncopated rhythms are used for funk music as well. So when you hear all that kind of, it's a similar idea. Okay, so that is how you would play Three Little Birds.